Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today I have a delicious and festive holiday brunch idea for you. I'm going to show you how to make my Christmas tree tsoureki. Now these are little balls of tsoureki that are going to be shaped into a Christmas tree. It is perfect if you're having guests over and you want to serve them something special in the morning along with their tea or coffee. It's even beautiful enough to serve as a main dessert for your holiday table. This tsoureki Christmas tree is going to be filled with candied fruit. It's so festive and so delicious and very easy to make. Let's go over the ingredients so we can get started. Every good tsoureki recipe begins with a starter. So we have whole milk, a little bit of all-purpose flour, some granulated sugar, and active dry yeast. I'm just going to add all of these ingredients to my mixer. And I'm just going to give them a little mix. And I'm going to set them aside for 10 minutes. For the remaining ingredients, I have some candied citrus peel. I also have a few candied cherries and pineapple, some bread flour, granulated sugar, a little pinch of salt, and mahlepi, some vanilla extract, some unsalted butter that's at room temperature, 2 eggs, and whole milk. Okay, so while we're waiting for the yeast to proof, or another word for proof is activate, basically what you're looking for is for it to form a nice puffy cloud on top. That is how you will know the yeast is active. If that doesn't happen, make sure you throw that yeast away and you start all over. Now I know it takes a lot for yeast to go bad, but if it does, this recipe will just all go to waste because the tsoureki will not puff up and do what it needs to do. While that's happening, I'm going to add my eggs to the milk. Now you want to make sure that the milk in both the starter and the remaining ingredients is at room temperature, slightly warm, like 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I'm going to add pure vanilla extract, and I'm just going to give it a nice mix. Set that aside. Now the citrus peel is the perfect size, but these other candied fruits over here are kind of big and chunky. So I'm just going to chop them up a little bit so that they're into very small pieces. Now, if you don't like candied fruit, by all means leave it out. You do not have to add this to here. What a great substitute for this would be any dried fruit. You could do cherries, apricots, cranberries, raisins, whatever you like. Now I'm just going to mix all the dry ingredients together. Now I'm using mahlepi because that is a very traditional flavor. If you cannot find it, just leave it out because nothing really tastes like it. So you just leave it out completely. Add another teaspoon of vanilla extract. If you like cardamom seeds, you can just grind those up and put those in here, about 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. That's very festive and delicious too. So now I'm going to basically add all the ingredients except for the candied fruit to the mixing bowl, along with 2 tablespoons of soft unsalted butter. And I'm just going to turn the mixer on and let this knead for 8 to 10 minutes. After 8 minutes of kneading, go ahead and drop in the candied fruit. Then turn the mixer off. Go ahead and add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to a large mixing bowl and transfer all of the dough to the mixing bowl. The dough is going to be sticky. Don't worry about it. Don't be tempted and add any extra flour. You want this dough to be light and delicious and rich. Just toss it in the bowl to coat in the oil. It's going to take some of the stickiness away, and fold it a couple of times just so that way all the fruit can be distributed equally and evenly. Cover it with a piece of plastic and then set it in the warmest part of your house until it rises and doubles in volume. That's going to take anywhere between 1 to 2 hours. I'll show you what it looks like as soon as it's done. So once the dough rises, go ahead and transfer it onto a clean work surface. In this case, I'm using a cutting board. Go ahead and take out a little piece of dough that weighs about 65 grams and then cut the rest into 4 equal pieces, as equal as you can get them. It is going to help if you have a kitchen scale so you can weigh it out. We're going to have to cut this into 24 pieces now, 25 total, but we did set one aside. Roll each portion out into a rope and cut it into 6 pieces. Weigh it. Each piece should weigh about 65 grams or so. It can go a little bit up and down. Now I'm going to roll it out into little balls. So at this point, we're just going to sprinkle just a tiny bit of all-purpose flour onto the board. And you're just going to roll it using the palm of your hand into a little ball. And we're going to make the shape of a Christmas tree. So we're going to start with the top, and we're going to put one ball in the center of a baking pan lined with parchment paper, just like that. And then we're going to keep building. So we're going to put 1 extra on each row, making 6 rows. So try not to put too much flour because then it's going to be hard to roll them. And you do want these to have a pull apart effect. So too much flour will make them separate while baking. So Here's a second ball. Now over here, I'm gonna make a row of 2. The next row is gonna be 3, and so on and so forth. I'm gonna continue forming these balls, leaving a little tiny bit of space in between because they are gonna rise some more. So once you're done making 6 rows, the last 4 balls are gonna make the trunk. So here it is. Look at how beautiful it looks already. Now I'm gonna cover it with the same piece of plastic wrap, just like so. And I'm gonna set it in the warmest room of my house, and I'm gonna let these puff up. It's gonna take about an hour for them to be ready. I'll show you what they look like as soon as they're done. In the meantime, you wanna preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So after between 45 minutes to an hour, the Christmas tree balls are going to be nice and puffed up. Now we're going to brush them with some egg wash. So I have 2 egg yolks, and I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of whole milk to them and just mix them all together. And now just brush them with the egg wash. This is going to make them bake and just get that beautiful mahogany color. Perfect. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. These are gonna bake in there for 25 to 30 minutes or until they're beautifully golden all around. Once this comes out of the oven, I'm gonna let this cool for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're gonna decorate it with some cream cheese icing. I will show you what it looks like as soon as it comes out. So the tsoureki took 30 minutes in the oven to bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. It's beautifully golden. Now it's important for it to cool for a little bit before you go ahead and serve it. It should cool for a good 15 minutes so that way it just stays nice and moist and perfect. In that time, I like to make a little cream cheese icing to drizzle up on top. It almost makes it look like the Christmas tree is decorated, and I'll show you what I mean in a few minutes. For the icing, you're gonna need some confectioner's sugar, a little bit of softened cream cheese and softened unsalted butter, a little bit of vanilla extract, and some whole milk. Basically, we're just gonna mix these things together until everything is nice and smooth. You could do this in a mixer or by hand, it's up to you. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of vanilla extract and mix everything up until everything is incorporated. Then we're gonna thin it out with a little bit of milk. You're gonna need anywhere between 2 to 4 tablespoons. You wanna make it a consistency that's easy to pour over or drizzle on top. And it looks like it's never going to come together, but really after mixing just for a little while, it starts to become nice and smooth. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the milk. I'm going to start with 2 tablespoons, and I'm going to switch to a little whisk. And I think it needs a little bit more milk, so I'm just going to add 2 more. And this is looking good to me. If you want it a little bit thinner than that, add a little bit more milk to get it to the consistency that you like. So of course you can leave the tree just as is and maybe dust it with some powdered sugar. It's going to be delicious and perfect. But if you want to take it to the next level, we're going to decorate it with some cream cheese icing. So I have a pastry bag here. This is just a plain decorating plastic bag. I'll put the link down below. I get mine from Amazon. I like to put it in a cup because it makes it easier to fill. And just put the icing inside of the bag basically. And I'm just going to cut the tip just a teeny tiny bit, so that way we can pipe little strings out. And you can decorate this however you want, but I am just gonna do little strings just like that. And the top can get like a little zigzag like that. So the remaining cream cheese, you can just transfer it into a little serving bowl and just serve it on the side, so whoever tears off a piece of this delicious tsoureki can just dip it in, and it's just gonna be amazing. I love the way the little candied fruit, the cherries are peeking out of this. It almost makes it look like decorations. I'm gonna go in and give it a little taste. It's so aromatic, perfectly sweet. The cream cheese icing on top is just like a cherry on top, even though there's a cherry inside. I think you guys are gonna love this. You can go onto the website, dimitrasdishes.com, to print this recipe. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I will see you all next time. Yes, us.